Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. Today we're gonna jump into our last session of the WPT GTO trainer spot MP2 Open versus button call. This is a tournament spot played on 50 big blind stacks, and we've got our last 25 hands to play. And then we'll wrap it up because we'll be at a 500 hands check mark. So let's jump right into this. First hand, we've got 9-7 suited on an ace-10 board. We're just gonna check it. It's the ideal action, played 60% of the time. Villain checks behind. Queen of diamonds on the turn. We are going to try and take the spot with a third pot bet. We can see this is fine, and we actually pick up the spot, so that's great. Now we have ace jack off on a trade jack 10. We're betting 2.5 here. That's the ideal action. The villain calls. We've got a 7 of clubs on the turn. We'll continue with the aggression, and we're gonna bet 2/3 of the pot this time. That's the ideal action, but the villain folds. Jack queen off on an ace-5 tray. We're betting 1/3 of the pot. This is great. Villain folds. 8-7 suited on a jack deuce 9. I think we're going to bet 5.5 here, which is 16% of the strategy. But ideally we would check here. But so it happens when we play hard. The cards work with us as well, so we hit our straight on the turn. And what do we do now? Do we bet 2/3 of the pot? Do we overbet the pot? I think we overbet the pot here. That's EV-wise, it's a fine play, but just 1.5% of the strategy of the solver. Solver prefers betting 2/3 of the pot here with 27.5 frequency. That's the ideal action, but yeah, we can see the solver does probably a fair bit of checking here and also a fair bit of betting 1/3 of the pot. Let's go to the next one, pocket deuces on a tray 10-7. We're gonna check 98% of the time. We should check here, and we're just gonna fold the pocket deuces. And we can see the solver agrees with this line. Now we've got 5-4 of clubs on a 4-7 king. We're gonna check here. That's the ideal action. Played 47% of the time. Villain checks behind. We have a queen on the turn. We're gonna check for the second time. And we're gonna fold to the overbet. And surprisingly, the ideal action is calling this overbet, and the solver plays it 93.6% of the time. It only folds 3.3% of the time with this hand here, which is very, very surprising for me. The EV loss is small, but yeah, interesting. Let's go to the next one. 6-5 suited on a 5-10 queen with 2 diamonds. We're gonna check. You can see the EV loss of checking is fine, is 0, but solver prefers betting 2/3 of the pot here with a 40% frequency. We're gonna check on the 8 of spades. That's what the solver does as well. 95% of the time, villain checks behind. And there's a jack of diamonds on the river. And I think with our hand, should we take a stab at the spot? Maybe we're gonna donk bet it here. Yeah, we should rather check 99.7% of the time. So we can see the EV loss of donk betting is small, but it's just 0.24% of the strategy. And we got called by pocket sixes, so we couldn't even achieve what we wanted to do. So we'll get a hand like that to fold. 9-8 suited on a queen 4-5. I think we're gonna check it here. Yeah, that's a 99.5% check. Villain checks behind. Jack of clubs on the turn. We're gonna donk bet it now. Again, ideal action would be a check 99% of the time, but we bet nonetheless, and we have a jack of hearts, another jack on the river. Since we bet on the turn on the jack, we're gonna continue betting, and we're gonna bet 2/3 of the pot now. Not gonna know what happens here because it's a rare tree, but we can see the villain is raising us, so we're just gonna fold. Pocket fives on a 4, 9, 7. I think this is a check. It is. And is this a call with pocket fives here? I'm gonna fold. Well, it should be a call 97.5% of the time. We don't see the solver folding pocket fives here often, and the EV loss is quite substantial, so that's a bad play. We shouldn't be check folding pocket fives on a board like this. Pocket deuces on 6, 5 ace. We're gonna bet 2.5, and we're gonna fold to the raise. 10, 9 suited on a jack 6, 8. I think we're gonna bet 2.5 here. That's the ideal action. Played 51% of the time. We get called. Ace of hearts on the turn. I think we're gonna go for a check raise here. The solver actually likes over betting here 35% of the time, but we can see checking is also fine. EV wise, 0 EV loss and 33% of the strategy. We hit our 9 on the river, and because of that I think we're gonna donk bet it. Would be better to just check. Yeah, we should be checking here 100% of the time. Cool. King jack off on a 6 ace 7. We're gonna bet 2.5. Okay, this is a 100% almost check, so my bad here. Deuce of clubs on the turn. We're gonna check it. Villain checks behind. Queen of spades on the river, and we're gonna check for the 3rd time and fold to the overbet. 9, 10 of hearts on a 10 trade jack. I think we're gonna check now. Betting 2.5 would be better. We hit our 2nd pair on the turn, and we are going to overbet it. Solver doesn't like this line, never plays it almost. Checking is best, played 62% of the time. So for betting, it's either a 1/3 or 2/3 of the pot, never an overbet. Good to know. Ace 6 of clubs on a 4 ace 5 with 2 diamonds. We're gonna bet a 1/3 of the pot. We can see it's better to check it. Jack of clubs on the turn. We're gonna check now, and we're gonna call the bet of 2/3 of the pot. There's a deuce of diamonds on the river, and we're gonna check. And are we calling the all-in now? I think we cannot call the all-in. Yeah, 99.84. The solver is falling here. King queen off on a jack queen 7 is gonna be a bet 2.5. Villain folds. 6, 7 of diamonds on an 8, 10, 10. I think we're gonna bet 5.5 here. It's a rare 8% play, but we should be betting rather 2.5, and yeah, EV wise it's fine. Another 8 on the turn. I think with our hand we've really got no other option but to overbet it here. Actually, we should be giving up. As we can see, the solver is just checking here, and it's a big EV loss. So again, we made a big mistake. So That sucks. Ace king off on a 9 queen 7 with 2 spades. We're gonna bet 2.5. And are we folding to the raise? I think we're gonna call it here. Again, we make a big mistake. Well, it's not going our way this session. But since we don't know what happens here, we're just gonna call to see what the villain has. Because, yeah, it doesn't count towards our EV loss. We're just gonna call it all in. Just to see. He's got king jack, so he's bluffing. But it was a bad decision to call the raise on the flop. And yeah, we should never be calling this on the flop. Pocket sevens on an ace 6-9 with 2 clubs. We're gonna bet 2.5. Checking is the ideal action. Villain calls. 9 of clubs on the turn. We're gonna check now. And we're going to call the bet of a third of the pot. That's all fine. Jack of spades on the river. We're checking. And now the villain overbets the pot. And I think we have to fold here. 91% of the time the solver folds here. So that's fine. Pocket aces on a deuce, deuce, 10. I think we're betting 2.5 here. Solver prefers betting 5.5. Now we've hit our ace. So we're gonna check. 92% of the time we should check here. The solver, the villain bets 8 BBs. We're gonna call. Yeah. And another 10 on the river. So should we dunk bet it here? Or yeah, I think we should dunk bet it here. Nope, we shouldn't. We should just check. It's better to check here, which is surprising for me. I would think dunk betting is better. But yeah, we can see another almost 2 BB of EV loss and just 2% play. But fortunately the villain re-raises and we call to see him have a 10. Cool. King jack off on a 7-9 jack. We're betting 2.5 here. And getting called. A 3 of diamonds on the turn. We're betting 2/3 of the pot. And the villain folds. Ace 10 off on a 10-5-9. We're gonna bet 2.5 here. It's a good spot to bet 2/3 of the pot. We can see solver playing this 65% of the time. Ace deuce on an ace queen king queen. We're gonna bet 2.5. Checking the bigger part of the strategy at 61%. We've got 9 of spades on the turn. We're just gonna check. Solver agrees with this line. Villain checks behind. And we've got a 6 of spades on the river. We're just gonna dunk bet now as the ideal action. And the villain shoves all in and we're folding. Yeah, 95% of the time we should be folding to this weird re-raise all in. Pocket jacks on a 9 tray 5 with 2 hearts. I think we're gonna bet 5.5 here. It's fine, but the ideal action would be checking. 3 of spades on the turn means we are going to bet 2/3 of the pot. That's the ideal action. Villain calls. And we have a queen of hearts on the river. We're gonna check. Dunk betting would be the ideal action at 85% of the strategy, but checking is 15% of the rest of the strategy and fine EV-wise, so that's good. Ace 4 suited on a 7-4-5. We're gonna check. Betting 2.5 is the preferred option. Villain bets now 2.5, we're gonna call. 8 of hearts on the turn, we're gonna check. Villain bets 2/3 of the pot and we're gonna give up on this. And surprisingly, the solver calls here 97% of the time with ace 4 suited. Interesting. Sorry about that. We're gonna move on to the next one. Ace king suited on king deuce jack. We're gonna bet 2.5 here. Betting 5.5 is played 52% of the time in the ideal action. Jack of diamonds on the turn. We're gonna check. Solver prefers betting 2/3 of the pot here. 63% of the time. There's a king of hearts on the river. And do we check it here? Do we bet? I think we're gonna check. And the solver doesn't like it here. Just 0.45% of the strategy and big EV loss. We should overbet it here 80% of the time. Wow, we've played our last 25 hands of this spot. Unfortunately, this was a very bad session. So our last session of this spot, unfortunately, was a bad one. Minus 65 BB of EV loss, so almost double or more than double of our average EV loss. Yeah, we've had this spot with ace king minus 4.2, this spot minus 5.7, this one minus 1.94. Yeah, this was unfortunately not the greatest session, but well, what can you do? Our overall EV loss over those 500 hands was minus 32 BBs per 100 hands. So not the worst, not great either. I think we've certainly learned a lot of interesting things. I'm gonna do a summary of this spot. I'm gonna pick some of the most interesting hands, and yeah, that will be the next video. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a comment below. Just write GTO or ask a question or write whatever you want. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. Check out the GTO trainer in the links of the description in the description of this video, and also check out the link to the playlist with this MP2 open versus button call, all the previous sessions. This was very fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. You want to learn how to play poker? Great. You have little or no experience playing poker? No problem. Do you want to learn the fundamentals, the most basic principles that allow you to easily win money when playing with casual players? That's perfect, because this course was created specifically for people like you. My name is Mateusz, I've played over 3 million hands of No Limit Texas Hold'em, and I'd like to teach you how to play poker like a pro. What you will learn in this course are the fundamentals, the ABC of poker, condensed into 21 short and easily digestible lectures. In each lecture, you will learn a different concept which you can test out and practice immediately after watching. Well, do you want to become a good poker player? Do you want to be able to beat recreational players easily? Do you want to have a great time winning at your local home games? Great! Get this course now and start winning at poker.